Today we will be going over the JVC camera. First, we must start with breaking the camera down into its key components for operation. The first thing you should do is put a fully charged battery into the camera. Now looking at the big picture, you have these components. First, you should take note of where the SD card slots are, as the first step to recording footage is to have your SD card inserted into the camera. The SD card slots on this camera can be located directly beneath the visual display. The next thing you may want to know is how to open your lens cap, because, after all, what good are the SD cards if they have nothing but darkness to record? You can find the switch for the lens cap at the front of the camera, and you switch it up to open the lens cap. Now that your SD cards are in and your camera's eye is open, turn the device on. Once the camera is on, use the manual focus to focus in as you want it. You may use either the visual display or the viewfinder to view what your camera sees. Your onboard mic may be attached or reattached as you need, whether you need to replace it or put another audio accessory in its place. Taking a look at the buttons on the main body of the camera, you have these components: full auto button, the AB button, the white balance switch, the gain amount switch. This increases the amplitude of the video signal, although the higher the gain, the more noise that is introduced into your video signal. The AF/MF button, the ND filter switch. Your ND filter, or neutral density filter, should be turned on if it's bright outside. If you're inside, don't use it. The focus zoom switch and the user buttons. Above that, you have these components for audio: channel 2 input, audio inputs, auto manual channel 1, and auto manual channel 2. Under audio inputs, make sure input 1 is set to mic. Make sure channel 2 input is set to input 2. Make sure the input 2 under audio inputs is set to mic plus 48V. Put all audio selects to auto. If you don't like the results, switch both back to manual and adjust the audio by hand with the adjustment wheels. Make sure full auto is turned off. Look in viewfinder for results. On and behind the visual display, you have these components: the index, zoom and program AE, a record button, the user 3 button, the display button, the component out jack and the AV out jack, Q review button, a cam media button, and a menu button. On the back of the camera, you have these key components: the battery, the ADJ volume and push, which allows you to use the 3 buttons above it labeled iris, shutter, and AE plus minus. Beneath the battery, you have the HDMI jack, a USB connection, and a DC connection. On the right side of the back of the camera, you have another record button and, of course, your power switch. Just above that record button and the power switch, on top of the camera, you have a snapshot button and a zoom. Below the mic jack, you have a jack for plug-in power and a jack for headphones. On the bottom of the camera is where you attach a camera plate for a tripod, monopod, or other equipment. Now that you know the key components to the JVC GY-HM100U camera, let's dive into the camera's basic functions. In the list of menus, you have the following selections: camera process, file format, system select, record mode, clip continuous record, connection settings, media settings, wind cut, audio reference levels, mic level setting, internal mic level, audio monitor, TCUB, display settings, and camera settings. For your recording settings, you have the following. You have your file format, which can be toggled between MP4 and QuickTime. You have your system select, where you can select between your 1080p and your 720. And then you have your record mode, where you can select between your 1920 and your 1440. To format your SD card, go down to Menu Settings and click Format. White balance the camera. Set ND filter according to lighting. To toggle between your white balance settings, you'll use the A, B, or preset switch. Find a perfectly white object in your field of view. Press the auto white balance button in front of the camera. Set the f-stop and aperture. Press the iris button and select your f-stop. Now adjust the gain. There are 3 levels: low, medium, and high. These can add or subtract noise. Set the desired shutter speed. Press the shutter button. Adjust the speed to what best suits your footage. Shutter speed should be set to your video frame rate. And finally, press record. Those are the bare bone basics of the JVC GY-HM100U camera.